Let the old hag pay for it. It's free, so eat a lot.
Apparently, that's what Michelle, my son's wife, had said. I was taken aback, having not been told about treating anyone to premium steak, and I couldn't help but exclaim. I was then on the phone with my son, William, when Michelle snatched the phone to explain. I began questioning Michelle, who was insistent on being treated.
Where is that steak from?
Huh? Why?
Just tell me. What's the name of the restaurant?
Hearing the seriousness in my voice, Michelle was slightly irritated and responded like, what's her deal?
It's from a premium steak place in the next town. Do you mean this place here?
As I mentioned the name of the restaurant, Michelle sounded utterly shocked. My name is Susan. I'm 78 years old. I've been in this industry for about 50 years now. By this industry, I mean the food and beverage business. Marrying a chef turned my life completely around. For me, who used to be a secretary, this was a whole new world. I often got reprimands from my husband and the staff, but they were teaching me the ropes. I understood that their scolding came from a place of love, so I never took it to heart. Far from getting down about it, I've always had a determined spirit. Every day, I strive to prove myself and earn their respect.
William, get the dish for table 3 ready. It looks like it's gonna be done soon. Got it.
Our restaurant was busy every day, but my husband and I enjoyed working together, supporting each other. Until William decided to start his own place, he used to work in the kitchen, helping in the restaurant while also learning the craft. We knew he had considered taking over our place, but we respected his wish to try his hand at his own place. Years later, after completing his training, William finally achieved his dream of opening his own restaurant.
The big day, huh, William? Do your best. I dunno how far I can go, but I'm gonna make it a success and make a name just as big, if not bigger, than you guys.
Seeing our son so cheerful and determined, we felt proud of how he had grown up. And soon after the restaurant opened, he married Michelle, whom he had been dating for some time. I thought William and the others would lead a wonderful life and be happy. No one expected that this marriage would be a turning point for our family. Our restaurant was a large establishment, emphasizing traditional American dishes. The setting was in a classic American style, and many of our patrons were adults. While there were families, the atmosphere of the restaurant felt a bit formal, perhaps a bit intimidating for younger folks to come in alone. On the other hand, William's place was the exact opposite. He'd set up something reminiscent of a family diner. Such a concept was unique in our small town, and word quickly spread, making it a hit. The food was impeccable, especially popular among children. With a variety of kids' meals and a wide range of delightful desserts for the ladies, it quickly rose to be one of the most popular joints in town. As parents, we were proud and boasted about it. We hadn't expected our son to strike out on his own and achieve this much success. Every time someone praised the restaurant, my husband and I, without thinking, would offer them a complimentary dish out of sheer joy. However, there was one person who took advantage of our goodwill.
Hey there.
That's my son's wife, Michelle. On this particular day, I happened to run into her at the local supermarket. As soon as she saw me, she gave a smirk, as if mocking. For some reason, she's always had it out for me, often making snide remarks. I braced myself for her usual sarcasm.
Out for groceries again? At your age, you're still running the restaurant, huh?
Such comments from her had unfortunately become part of my routine. I couldn't help but sigh at her usual tone. But I was used to this kind of jealousy. After all, my husband was a bit of a local celebrity, known for his handsome looks and culinary expertise. When my handsome husband took over the business, it was quite the talk of the town. His friends were like, "You finally took over, huh?" They flooded in and came to congratulate. The transition of generations was quite the hectic period. Apparently, there were even some women who frequented our restaurant back then just to be around my husband. That's the husband I married. Naturally, I've been put through my fair share of ordeals. Thanks to all that, I became mentally tougher. People even joked like, "You have so much nerve." Of course. My husband and I are gonna keep working until we can't anymore. Well, do your best, I guess. You won't ever catch up to our business anyway. While our store was profitable, Williams was even more flourishing, bustling every day. When they first opened, he relied heavily on my husband for help. But now, with an increased number of employees, it seems they're sailing smoothly every day. However, Michelle always compares her store to ours, using their success as leverage. I was like, what's the point of saying things like that? Before I knew it, my thoughts had slipped out of my mouth.
What's the point of bragging about your family's business? Why do you always bring up such trivial matters? Who would be jealous of a son's successful store?
You might say that, but I know you badmouth us behind our backs. Look down on us now, but one day, the tables will turn on you folks. With those ominous words, Michelle snorted, ignoring my response and leaving the scene. I was left dumbfounded, watching her walk away. Her harassments didn't stop, they only got worse. Spreading false rumors about our restaurant, posting negative comments on social media. Eventually, a nasty rumor spread that I, as her mother-in-law, was maliciously slandering her. Of course, I never said anything of the sort. Heaven knows I've never even spoken ill of my own family to anyone. I was so overwhelmed by the situation that I was bedridden from the shock for days. Why was all of this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Gradually, my patience wore thin and frustration turned to resentment. Michelle wasn't like this before their marriage. She was incredibly charming, with a demeanor perfectly suited for customer service. In fact, right before their wedding, when William was thinking of starting his business, she expressed her wish to learn customer service and even helped out at our restaurant. Customers loved her, even praising her hospitality. Both my husband and I thought my son was blessed with a wonderful partner. But, not long after William's business took off, Michelle's attitude changed. To this day, I still don't know what sparked the current situation. Even when I try to discuss it, I'm just brushed off like now, and there's no genuine conversation. Now, it feels like all we've ever done is exchange sarcastic remarks. A few days later, on a particular day while I was out with my husband, a call from William came to my cell phone. Hello?
Oh. Mom? Are you free now? Yeah. What's up?
The tone of William's voice over the phone was low, and from the way he spoke with such a serious demeanor, I instinctively straightened up to listen.
Did Michelle tell you anything today?
Huh? What are you talking about? Caught off guard by his sudden question, I stammered out a response. But William, seeming somewhat anxious, continued.
Something about treating her to a meal or some plan like that. Didn't Michelle tell you anything?
Nope, haven't heard a thing about that. Why?
I thought so, then, that means.
What happened? Without really understanding, I asked him to elaborate. William hesitated, but then shared the situation with difficulty.
Actually, one of Michelle's friends is at my place today, and well, they ordered some premium steak. Oh, that's nice. Everyone deserves a treat once in a while.
Regardless of how much I might resent her, that's a different story. Working in the same industry, I believe I understand the challenges and hardships. Occasional treats are only natural. Thinking along those lines, William seemed to have a different perspective.
The steak is fine, but what they said when they ordered, it's just weird.
What did they say? Hearing my question, William hesitated, struggling to find the words. I had a hunch it was about me, but when I heard the words, my face contorted in anger.
Let the old hag pay. It's free, so eat up.
That's what Michelle had said. I exclaimed in shock. At the same time, my anger reached its peak, knowing I'd been spoken of in that manner. My voice became unintentionally harsh.
Who you calling an old hag? I haven't agreed to pay for anything, nor have I been informed about anything. Well, yeah. It's the first time I've heard someone call an old hag. I did think it might not be you. But then the conversation I overheard with a regular sounded a lot like you.
A regular?
Michelle is a friend of a regular at my diner. Well, she became a regular and then they became friends. They're having dinner at my place today.
Oh. But I wasn't told anything about that. While we were discussing, there was a sudden rustling sound in the background, and with William's frantic voice, someone else took over the call.
Hello? Is this Susan? It's Michelle.
It seemed that Michelle had realized William was on the phone with me and had taken the phone from him. Michelle, what's going on?
You heard from William, right? That makes things easier. I'd appreciate if you could treat us to dinner.
Her words, delivered in a cutesy tone as if she was looking for praise, honestly irked me. But, of course, I wouldn't show such a childish reaction and spoke calmly. Listen, Michelle. Just because we're family, do you think you can get away with doing things without asking? Why are you being so stingy?
It's just a little favor. I mean, you guys are doing quite well for yourselves, aren't you? Hey, you. Who do you think you're talking to like that? You, be quiet.
The outrageous words flying out of Michelle's mouth left me speechless. And William probably realized for the first time how she was behaving towards me. He tried to intervene, but it seemed she brushed him off.
A steak or two, with your income, it's not a big deal, right? I'm asking about the principle of making someone pay without even consulting them. I'm your son's wife, after all. Can't you treat me to something nice every once in a while?
What is she even saying? She got caught, and instead of apologizing, she's doubling down. The audacity of her words left me so stunned that I couldn't even respond.
At any rate, thanks for the steak.
Seeing me lost for words, Michelle grew impatient and tried to forcefully end the conversation. But I wasn't going to let it end like that and spoke up.
Where is that steak from?
Huh?
Why? Just tell me. What's the name of the restaurant?
At my serious tone, Michelle retorted with an irritated voice, as if thinking like, what's her deal?
It's from a premium steak place in the next town. Do you mean this place here?
As I mentioned the name of the restaurant, Michelle sounded utterly shocked.
Huh? How did you know the name of that restaurant? Well, this place is managed by my husband's apprentice.
I then switched to a video call and prompted Michelle to look at the screen. Displayed was the very place where they were ordering their premium steak, and it was also where William and I were dining. It seemed Michelle was unaware of our presence at the restaurant because she had ordered over the phone. Moreover, they arrived before us, and only the chef knew of the situation. The chef had later informed us that Michelle had placed such a large order and intended to bill it to me. I was waiting for her to contact me all along. The earlier shock was all an act, a small revenge on my part. In truth, I had been informed of the whole situation from the start. The reason we were here was thanks to my husband who, worried about my health, had invited me out for a change of scenery. The chef, aware of this, generously offered to close the restaurant just for us. Our pleasant time was thus interrupted. This minor retaliation seems gentle, given the circumstances.
Fine. Then, make sure you cover the bill for us.
Although Michelle seemed momentarily flustered at the revelation, she appeared to reassure herself, thinking it would be all right since we were there. It seemed she took for granted that we would cover her tab. I couldn't help but smirk amusingly at her.
I'm sorry to disappoint, but the chef already informed me about your scheme. The bill will be charged directly to you. What?
Where did that sweet, purring voice go just now? Her true colors seemed to show, and the surprised reaction from William nearby was evident. Unperturbed by everything, Michelle lashed out with a sharp tone.
Why should we cover it? We didn't know any better. Why should we pay, especially for your friends we don't even know? You're my husband's mother, isn't it only right for a family to cover the bill? Don't pull that card only when it's convenient for you. Do you have any idea how much I've had to endure your sarcasm and harassment? Taking advantage of William's ignorance, do you think I don't know what you've been up to all this while?
There's only so much I can take. I couldn't stand by as she accused me, especially when I wanted her to understand the gravity of her misdeeds. The more I spoke, the more intense my tone became, and Michelle seemed taken aback.
Tell me, why did you start treating me this way? You weren't like this at first. Did I do something wrong?
All the harassment I had been subjected to until now, I wanted to understand. If I was at fault, I was willing to apologize and resolve the issue. But the words that came out of Michelle's mouth were unexpected.
I've been saying it all along. Susan has been bad-mouthing me. I heard you've been spreading rumors around the neighborhood that I'm not a good wife. Some customers told me.
Tears streamed down Michelle's face as she spoke. I sighed deeply, exasperated by her words.
I've been telling you, I never said any of that. I don't know who that person is, but do you think it's okay to believe in such rumors without even checking with me and harass me like this? If you really believe I said those things, bring the person who claimed that to me. I can bring it out.
Michelle replied with unexpected confidence. Upon hearing the story, it turned out that the friend Michelle had invited today was the very person spreading false rumors about me. I conveyed like I'm going to see her, so make sure to keep her there. My husband and I thanked the chef, paid our bill, and left the restaurant. After a short drive, we arrived at our son's house, spotting a familiar bicycle at the entrance.
This bicycle is...
Before I could finish, I hurried inside. To my astonishment, I found a woman devouring steak in the living room. She seemed equally surprised and choked on her steak when she saw me.
Long time no see. When was the last time? Since you got banned from her place?
As I flashed a sinister grin at the flustered woman, she trembled with fear.
Huh? Do you know each other?
Since the woman hesitated to respond to Michelle's question, I explained the situation on her behalf.
She used to be obsessed with my husband and got banned from her place.
Michelle and William both gasped in surprise upon hearing that, and I continued.
She couldn't accept that he married me, so she kept harassing us day in and day out, which led to her ban. So, the bad things she was saying about you. Of course, they were all lies. Seriously, who in their right mind would badmouth their own family to a customer just because they're annoyed?
Visibly exasperated, I approached the two women with a wide grin.
You've done quite a lot, haven't you? Taking my hospitality for granted, spreading nasty rumors about our restaurant and claiming I was badmouthing my son's wife. How are you planning to take responsibility for spreading such baseless rumors?
My confronting demeanor was later described as having a devilish smile by William and my husband. Seeing my expression, both Michelle and the woman were terrified. Michelle clung to William's leg, sobbing.
Wait, William, it's not like that. I was deceived by her. Please believe me, I didn't know.
Hearing that, William became furious and raised his voice angrily.
I knew you were always talking about Mom's restaurant. You never even checked with her and you're acting all innocent now? Don't think you're getting off easily. No way.
Trying to seize the moment, the regular woman attempted to escape, but my husband quickly restrained her. Michelle, realizing the gravity of the situation, dropped her shoulders in resignation. I decided to call a lawyer friend of mine. Due to their social media posts and defamation against me, both of them were charged with defamation. The regular woman seemed to have finally given in and agreed. However, on the other hand, Michelle kept insisting that she was just influenced by her. She showed an attitude of wanting to fight against the claims, but she personally didn't have the money to take it on, and William decisively stated he wasn't going to pay for such a thing. Feeling betrayed by Michelle, William proposed a divorce, leading to unexpected divorce and being charged with defamation. Since then, the defamation was acknowledged, and she was charged with a compensation fee. Currently, their divorce process is ongoing, but it's likely to be finalized soon. William was deeply distressed, but luckily, his diner kept so busy he didn't have time to brood over it. As time went on, his demeanor gradually became brighter. Then, our family decided to visit the premium steakhouse we used to frequent. The chef had invited William and me to lift our spirits, having the place to ourselves for the evening.
This is delicious. I've never had a steak this good before.
Yeah.
I never thought you'd become such a respected chef during your apprentice days, but now I see why you're famous. If she hadn't done that stupid thing, she could have been here enjoying this steak with us.
It was almost laughable now how much we, as a family, had overcome. Thanks to the chef's generosity, we were treated with extra hospitality that day. Eating delicious steak with my beloved family was, more than anything, the best time we ever had.